Welcome back to another video. This is RBC Mr. Rhodes, and for today's game development tip video, I want to talk about a concept I refer to as novelty drift. And what novelty drift is, when you constantly are getting new ideas for different games or for just new ideas for systems to add into your current game, but these systems or new projects don't aren't beneficial to your current project or game. So we want to avoid novelty drift, and I have three ways to avoid novelty drift and to make sure you finish whatever project it is that you are working on. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is setting a clear vision for your project. And the simplest way to do this is just write it down. And a very common practice would be a GDD, a game design document. And this is recommended by very popular video game creators, fellow YouTube game devs recommend doing a GDD for this single purpose of setting a clear vision for your project, and so you know where this project is going. And setting a clear vision makes it so that you can, when you get a new idea, you can compare that idea with your current game, and then you can say, is this going to benefit, hinder, or just not do anything positive for my current project? And if it isn't going to bring value to your current project, then we move on to the second tip, which is create a project backlog. So when you have an idea that isn't going to benefit your current project, you go into I prefer a specific document for backlogged ideas, and you put that new idea down in that document so that once you're done with your current project, you can actually go back and you can pick from that list of now backlogged ideas and projects to then work on one of those ideas after you finish your current project. So for me, I have 7 different backlogged games right now that I've had these ideas. I quick jot down all the ideas that are coming into my head just so I don't forget them in this one document. And then once I'm done with my current game, I can now go to that document, and I have 7 ideas that I can pick from for my next game. And it actually is very helpful to have this kind of document, so you're never wondering what you're going to do next after you finish a big project. And then the third and final thing I want to talk about for this video is setting clear milestones for your project. And you're getting all these new ideas because you're kind of lost in your current project. And it's the same as when you're bored, you constantly want to go to the fridge and look for food. It's the same concept as you're lost, so all of a sudden you're searching for your mind searches for new ideas, and it kind of just grasps whatever it can get because you are lost in your project. So the way to avoid getting lost is to set clear milestones and kind of celebrate small wins. So for me, whenever I have an idea or I'm working on a new enemy, let's say, I'll have that milestone in my head for finishing that enemy. And then I keep doing that. New enemy, new system, new enemy, new boss, whatever it is. You just keep going to the next milestone, and you set these up so that you don't get lost in your game development process. And I have a Notion project opened that I keep track of everything I need to be doing in the next month for my game. so that there's no way I can get lost in my project and what I need to do next. And that is to avoid getting novelty drift. And another tip for that, for setting clear milestones, is when you set these milestones, focus on the inputs and not the outputs. And what I mean by that is simply don't focus on the end of your game. Well, obviously that's a big milestone, but so a more smaller example would be, don't focus on the actually finishing the boss you're working on. Focus on the small steps that you do to finish that boss. So you're going to want to focus on drawing the sprite, implementing that sprite, and writing the code for that boss. And that way you stay more focused and you are less likely to get lost, because you now are breaking it down into the actual small steps, which I'm referring to as the inputs, instead of just the one big picture boss enemy. And you could just keep doing this with everything, just breaking it down into smaller parts and focusing on the smallest part you can, and then move on to the next small part to stay focused and not get lost in your game. And those are my 3 tips for avoiding novelty drift. If you want to see the most recent game dev tip video, that'll be in the top left corner. And if you want to see the most recent devlog video I put up talking about my current plan for the end of my game, that'll be in the top right hand corner. And thank you all for watching. As always, like and subscribe if you like the content, and leave feedback down in the comments section. That'd be greatly appreciated. And this is RBC Mr. Rhodes signing off for now.